Number 10. Blackfish, 2013. When parents take their children to SeaWorld, they're hoping for that look of innocent amazement in their kids' eyes. The family watches huge, extraordinary orca whales jump from the water. Then animals perform tricks, the kids gape, and then the family goes home. But what about the orcas? They're stuck inside those tanks with many other whales, and they're getting angrier by the second. Especially since many of SeaWorld's workers are abusive, basically prodding the orcas until they lash out at them, which some have done, particularly a giant male whale named Tilikum. Tilikum has killed 3 humans and seriously injured several others. Because it's not supposed to be caged like that. Number 9. Big Bad Wolves, 2014. Big Bad Wolves opens with a beautifully staged, slow-motion sequence in which 2 little girls and their boy pal play a game of hide-and-seek in and around a cabin in the woods, ending with one of the girls' disappearance and only a shiny red shoe in her place. It's a clear indicator that Keshales and Papushato have fairy tales on their minds, albeit one incredibly grim tale. A police investigation leads to the discovery of the little girl's body in an empty field, tied to a chair. The lead detective, Miki, Law or Ashkenazi, has his sights on a schoolteacher suspect, Drawer, Rodem Kanan, a nebbish, lonely guy who lives in his dead parents' house and only finds companionship in his snippy pet dog. Number 8. Beginners, 2010. Mike Mills' first film was as delicate, smart, and assured as any first feature can be. The semi-autobiographical film features 2 intersecting stories, each featuring Oliver Fields, McGregor, a middle-aged, sordid depressed kind of guy who hasn't had much luck in his relationships. At the start of the film, Oliver, who never had much of a relationship with his father, plumber in an Oscar-winning role, learns that he is gay. Soon after he's diagnosed with cancer and in his last remaining months, Oliver truly develops a bond with his father, while also beginning a relationship with a mysterious and lovely actress Anna Laron. Often narrated by a dog, a creative decision some may not be on board with, Beginners is a film about identity and, perhaps most importantly, the ways we are conditioned to love by the people around us. It's poetic, heartwarming, and few films so intelligently depict such a father-son relationship. Number 7. Beasts of No Nation, 2015. Nobody knows how to direct increasingly insane human ecosystems like Cary Fukunaga. The formerly man-braided auteur behind the masterful first season of True Detective delivers a nuanced tragedy based on the child soldiers of African civil wars, marking Netflix's first foray into Oscar territory, though the picture was, somewhat unfairly, snubbed. His unflinching camera tracks a bright boy, Agu, from his childhood where he lives with his family in a dirt-floored hut and plays imagination TV with his cheeky friends. But after being cursed by a bent witch, things turn ugly when armed-to-the-teeth rebels cut through his home and slaughter the men who refuse to yield the land passed down to them by their ancestors. Number 6. The Babadook, 2014. The Babadook is a special kind of horror film, in that it doesn't just try to scare you, it actually tells a moving story about a recently widowed mother, Amelia Davis, and her son Samuel Wiseman. After the death of his father, Samuel acts out and has trouble sleeping at night, terrified of his nightmares about the boogeyman. What Amelia thinks is just a reaction to the loss of his father turns out to be an actual monster called the Babadook. Not only does the movie tell a heartfelt story about a family dealing with a loss, but it's also quite terrifying, without using the same cheap scare tactics used in almost every other modern horror movie. Number 5. Atonement, 2007. Taking place in 1935 England, Atonement ranks high on the list of British dramas. It's the riveting story of how a young girl's life spiraled out of control. Bryony Tallis, Saoirse Ronan, a budding, 13-year-old playwright, lets jealousy get the better of her when she discovers the romantic relationship between her sister, Cecilia, Keira Knightley, and Robbie, James McAvoy, the son of the estate's housekeeper. Bryony lashes out with an accusation against Robbie that sets the fate of each character into motion. It's emotional, it's beautifully shot, it's gut-wrenching. Not to mention, it racked up a long list of Academy Award nominations back in 2008. In short, it won't disappoint. Number 4. At the Devil's Door, 2014. At the Devil's Door gives Glee's Naya Rivera and MTV's Awkward's Ashley Rickards the opportunity to leave their high school antics behind for some old-fashioned Satanism. Writer-director Nicholas McCarthy's three-narrative script is unusual. Rickards plays a young girl who, because she's sprung off a new boyfriend, haphazardly decides to sell her soul to the devil. Oscar nominee Catalina Sandino Moreno is Lee, a real estate agent tasked whose latest must-sell home has quite a few horrific secrets, one of which reveals itself to her right away, and Rivera, meanwhile, is Moreno's younger sister, Vera, a free-spirited artist who has no desire to get domesticated, even though Lee has specific reasons for wanting Vera to start a family. Number 3. Amelie, 2001. We'll be the first to admit that Amelie is not a film suited to everyone's taste. With its whimsical style and cute-as-a-button leading lady, Audrey Tautou, it's a Disney-fied version of life in Paris' Montmartre neighborhood. One where young Amelie works as a waitress on a mission to make life happier for those around her, concocting a number of elaborate schemes in order to manipulate joy from the strangers who surround her. Until she eventually realizes that it is she who is in need of a personal pick-me-up. Number 2. A Single Man, 2009. Set in LA in the 1960s, the film follows one day in the life of George, an English professor dealing with the tragic, sudden death of his boyfriend. The true strength of A Single Man is its delicate exploration of loss and pain. It digs deep into loneliness and depression to make larger points about love and why we're all here. Anyway, Tom Ford's directorial debut lends the film a gorgeous, dreamy atmosphere that paves the way for introspection. Ford paid for the film out of his own pocket, and the set design is by the same team behind Mad Men. This is not to mention that Firth's performance is simply excellent. It even received a Best Actor nod at that year's Oscars. Number 1. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. There are so many great moments to hold on to in Anna Lilia Mirper's gorgeous feature-length debut about a lone Iranian vampire girl, but its one-bedroom scene, of its two main characters swaying gently under a spinning disco ball, that leaves its greatest mark. It's one of the best romantic scenes in recent cinematic history. Its subtext subtle but speaking volumes. Which maybe is weird considering Netflix files this movie under horror. But A Girl Walks Home isn't just another bloody vampire movie. Sheila Van's unnamed girl likes to stalk her prey in the night, but she'll only punish men who deserve it. But between its beautiful black and white frames, and the bites she lets herself indulge in, the movie suggests a longing that's inexplicably melancholic and touching.